Hello and welcome, my name is Chris from ChristopherHole.com, and what we're going to be talking about in this short video is how to reduce back pain with better hips. It's very common to find in low back pain people with very tight, stiff hips with a sort of a greater lack of range of movement. And what we're going to be looking at is how to be in a better position when we squat, which is going to give us more stable hips, which is then going to help take the pressure off our lower back. So when we squat, obviously there are sort of basic guidelines in place that the majority of people would have heard: having feet shoulder width apart, having knees tracking toes, so on and so forth. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at something that's sort of a little bit more advanced, which can help create a more stable hip to, again, take the pressure off that lower back. So when we go into a squat position, what we want to be doing with our feet is we want to first be putting them roughly shoulder width apart. Then we want to be able to create flat feet with our toes down. And then the next part, which is the bit that maybe doesn't get taught as much, which is knees aligned with the outer foot. Now, as you can see on the picture here, we've got the knee which is aligned outside the foot. Now, again, that's absolutely fine if you've got the range of movement at the ankle and you can keep the foot flat with the knee in that position. But what we want to first start to create is just the understanding that our knees are allowed to come away from our toes. So the knees are going to be aligned to the outer foot. And also what we're going to allow is the knee or the knees to drift forward, either in line with the toes or in front of the toes. Now what this is going to do for our hips, for our ankles, and also for our lower back. For our hips, it's going to externally rotate them. Now, don't worry too much about sort of what external rotation is exactly, but basically what it's doing is it's screwing the hip into position, just like you would screw a screw into a wall and it would become tighter, and the picture would hold, or the mirror or whatever you're hanging will hold a lot more firm. The exact same's happening with your lower back. So as you screw your hips into position using external rotation, which is bringing the knees to the outer part of the foot, we're sort of externally rotating at the hip, bringing those knees out. That's screwing our hips into position so our back can become a lot more stable on top of the hips. What it's also going to do is it's going to create a stable arch. So first of all, it's going to create an arch if you don't have one, or it's going to begin to create one, and that's going to create a nice stable foot and a nice stable ankle, again, for our hips to push from, because it's our hips that are the big movement muscles that are going to help move us around in life and lift things and carry things around. And if we can screw our hips into position, if we can create a stable foot, create a stable arch, and create a strong ankle, then our lower back is going to become a lot more stable itself, and it's going to be able to have much less pressure going through it, because the hips and the ankles are taking the majority of that pressure. Okay, so just to summarize, when we go into a squat, what we want to create is flat feet, feet shoulder width apart, knees aligned to the outer foot, and we can allow the knees to drift forward in front of the toes. Okay, that's creating external rotation, which is going to help create a more stable back, a more stable foot, and a more stable arch. What I'm going to do is, on my website, I'm going to put at the bottom of the blog a list of stretches that can help develop this position, and then you'll just be able to click into the free members area and you can just view all of those stretches and the squat exercise as well. Okay, so many thanks for watching. My name's Chris from ChristopherHole.com. I will speak to you in a future video.